Joining me on the podcast right now is Jim Scott. He's the victim's advocate for Crawford County. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Randy. Thanks for having me on.
Great. Thanks for coming on again. Last time you were on, we talked about all the scams out there and what you could do and what to look out for. And this time around, let's talk about you've been scammed already. Let's talk about what happens after you've been scammed. What do you do now?
Yeah. The first thing we need to admit it. We need to admit it as bad as we hate to, but that really is the first step. We need to admit it. Then we just don't freak out. So many people freak out and freeze up, and then they don't do anything and just hope it'll go away, but it never will because they already have your numbers.
Right, sure.
So they're just going to keep taking and taking and taking. So we need to report it to the police or the sheriff. If you don't live in town, call the sheriff's office. They're good about all that. And then you can give me a call, and I'll say my number now, and I'll say it at the end also. So I'm in Matt Crawl's office, the county prosecutor's office, at 419-562-9782. And I have a little pamphlet that people can use, like a checklist more or less, that we can use to do different things. One thing I suggest is having somebody to help. Maybe an adult child, a friend from church, but it has to be somebody that's not going to judge.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst thing. We already feel bad enough that we've been scammed. I can't believe I fell for it. That's what everybody tells me.
Sure,
I talk to people all the time, and they're like, I can't believe I fell for this. And I know intelligent people that have fallen for it.
Sure, right.
And so I ask them to get a notebook or a folder of some kind, keep all their notes. I give them numbers for different things we'll talk about later. And then we need to get a hold of the local banks, and the local banks are great to work with. They'll change the accounts, they'll transfer whatever we need, change account numbers. A lot of people now have their Social Security maybe direct deposited, so what they'll do is set that up so you don't miss a payment. So they'll get you a new account started, but then they'll take your next check, and then that'll be the last one. Or payroll. Somebody works at Timken or wherever has direct deposit. The bank will work with you so that you don't miss that check.
Sure, okay.
Let's face it. It's a money crunch.
Oh yeah.
So
most
and after you've already been scammed and you have creditors calling, so we need to get the police report. That's number one to prove that we have been scammed, and then we can send that to the different places. So the FTC has a great website. It's identitytheft.gov, all one word, identitytheft.gov, and I give that to people when they call me, and it has a whole list of things, a lot of things we'll talk about today. So that's really where we need to start.
I know another hint that I've been told is don't use the same password for everything.
Right.
And that happens because once they get in your computer and use the same password, they go to your bank, they go to everything. They'll just keep entering that same password and username. But people do that. I know all kinds of people that use the same password for everything.
Oh yeah. And I'm guilty of that.
Oh, me too.
Several of my accounts are the same password because it's easy. I mean, we have so much going on in our lives.
Yeah.
We can't remember 20 different passwords.
At least 20.
Right.
Yeah.
So that can be a help to prevent things. And then after we've been scammed, we need to change everything. And you can write it down in the file you're keeping. Because no one's going to see that but you, or whoever you trust, right?
I have noticed something with Microsoft Edge now, that their browser, it'll tell you if your password has been compromised now to change it.
Right.
That's something new that I noticed the web browsers are actually, as technology changes, as they adapt, they're figuring how to do this to tell people, listen, you've been compromised, change your password now. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So another thing that we need to do, Randy, is freeze our credit. So basically what that is, we call one of the credit bureaus, we freeze it, and there's no charge since we've already been a victim of some kind of a scam. So we call them, that way no one else can open up any accounts in our name, our Social Security number, fudge the name or whatever they do. And then if we need to get a loan, say we get everything cleaned up, and it's going to take a couple months. It's not going to happen overnight.
Sure.
So then maybe 6 or 8 months, we trade our car in, or we need to get a home equity loan. Whatever the case may be. So we can call the credit bureau, and then they call it thaw the freeze. Okay, so we're going to thaw everything so that we can get our money. And that's something that we need to initiate. No one's ever going to initiate that to us.
Right.
So we'll call them. We have our PIN. We have everything set. you know, we can thaw that, we can get our loan, and then we can go right back to the freeze.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that. Okay.
It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
It's really simple, but it's confusing to some people. You know. So again, you know, you have my number. I'll give it to you again later in the show. But you know, I've done this before. My mom's in her 80s. You know, we did that for my mom. She wasn't a victim of a scam, so she had to pay like $3 or something. But it's well worth the $3 to protect her from any scammers.
Yeah, this is something I've never heard of, credit freezing.
It's not,
and I'm sure most people have it.
No, it's not very well advertised.
Yeah.
So, but all three of the credit bureaus use it. So it's easy to use. Again, call me, and you know, we'll get all this taken care of.
What's some other steps you can take?
I'm sorry?
What's some other steps you can take after you've been scammed?
Well, just being cautious. You know, we need to be extra cautious then in the future, so we don't get scammed again. Because once they get your numbers, then you're going to be a target, because they're going to share it with their buddies and everybody else. But you know, but again, like I say, get a friend, maybe an adult child that's not going to judge, because that's the worst thing. I mean, let's face it, most of our victims in this area are elderly, because you know, the scammers confuse them. They put fear into their hearts and minds, and then they don't know what to do. So.
And I guess you kind of feel like you're ashamed because you fell for it too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's there is some shame involved. So that's why I say, find somebody to help you that's not going to judge.
Right.
You know, because you already feel bad enough.
Right.
You know, and then if you do, you know, take a browbeating from an adult child or a friend or whoever, you're never going to tell anyone else. Right. So if somebody calls, you know, just be there to support them. You know, maybe help them, you know, make the calls, or you know, take them up to the bank. You know, whatever. Because I know a lot of our people still bank locally, which is great. And our local banks, I've worked with many of them in cases like this.
I'm sure they see it all the time, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, they do.
Scary times out there.
It really is. Yeah, it really is.
Well, if someone gets scammed and they need your help, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my phone number it's at the prosecutor's office. I'm at 419-562-9782. Or, you know, the local police, they need to call them first and get that initiated. And then a lot of times the police will tell them to call me. If not, they have my number.
And if someone wants can someone call you and say, hey, I heard about credit freezing, how do I do that? Can you
Sure. Oh, please, call me, and I can get them the info. I've helped people do it. You know, they've come up to the office if they don't, you know, if they don't have Wi-Fi, or if they can't get online or they have trouble. I've helped people do it all the time.
It's better to be proactive, right?
It really is. It really is.
Jim, thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Randy.
Lots of great information out there. Like I said, I don't think a lot of people know about the credit freezing and be able to thaw your credit out. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a helpful tool.
Great information. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.